What's going on, everyone? It's Zach, and last night Regulation D was announced. This is going to be the new rule set for Pokemon VGC starting July 1st and going all the way through September 30th. So this is, for as far as we know, going to be the format for Worlds. That being said, I'm not really worried about the format for Worlds other than to watch it because I have 10 CP. But the big change here is that we are going to get, the Paradox Mons, the Ruin Pokemon, but we're also going to get all the Pokemon that came through Pokemon Home that aren't restricted legendaries. Now, restricted legendaries are those box legendaries. So the main legendaries for each game, Kyogre, Zacian, Groudon, those ones. But we are going to get the sub-legendaries. So we're going to talk about that. And I want to know in the comments down below, are you excited for this format? So the newly available Pokemon are like the Charizard, Alolan Raichu. So Alolan forms, Hisuian forms, Galarian forms are all going to be allowed. Berserker is going to be allowed finally. You got Arcanine, Slowbro. Muck is going to be exciting. The birds. Anything that really sticks out. Heatran, Cresselia, Lilligant. But we're going to talk about this in a moment, but these are just all the mons that are now going to be allowed for VGC. So this is going to mix it up quite a bit. And so it's really exciting and kind of really scary at some points. But anyways, let's take a look at it. So the first ones I want to talk about are like Tornadus, Thundurus, and Landorus. Landorus is back. So we know that everyone is excited for that. Landorus is the big one here because it has Intimidate, but I would also have to say the Prankster Tailwind is going to be pretty good. And now you don't have to run Protect to deal with Fake Out. You can always run Covert Cloak. So no matter what, you don't have to worry about the Fake Out there. And it gets the new move from Legends Arceus, which is Bleak Wind Storm. It has 80% accuracy. But it has a chance to lower speed, so you can continue to stack the speed drops, or when you're playing mirror matches, that 30% chance to speed drop is going to be really good. And you do also get access to Taunt. What was Hurricane? Hurricane is 70%. I guess with Kyogre, Hurricane might be better, but I believe that this is this a spread move, or just Landorus is? I don't know. But there are also decent moves like Heat Wave to deal with grass types. If you are running the Rain variant, you can go Grass Knot as well. So this is going to be a big one. Probably end up just running Protect, like one attacking move and Protect to keep the Tornadus around. Thundurus is good for kind of the same reasons, but opposite. I don't think Defiant is going to be used now that it's not a Dynamax format. So before, Thundurus was more known for its Defiant, where it would get a speed boost, not a speed boost, it would get an attack boost for every stat drop that it faced. So Icy Wind, Intimidate would give it a speed boost. So I think we'll see Thundurus's role change back to the Prankster one. You get Prankster, Thunder Wave. Also, Eerie Impulse. Eerie Impulse is going to be good for dealing with Flutter Mane because you can immediately drop its special attack by 2. It's still going to do decent amount of damage, but like having that Eerie Impulse is going to be really good. And we've saw that Gyarados has been really good because of its Intimidate and Thunder Wave. So having Thunder Wave here is going to be decent as well. This also gets a Wild Bolt Storm, which has a 20% chance to cause paralysis. I don't know. If this is a spread type move, it would be good. But if you're already carrying Thunder Wave, you might just go for the Thunderbolt. And yeah, you would just like you would just make this thing really bulky. So Eerie Impulse really good, Taunt really good, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave. All solid moves all around. It's not going to get as much uses as Tornadus, but it still is going to have its cases. With Thunder Wave, you deal with the chance of paralysis, which is always good to increase the RNG in your favor. But it's never the guaranteed way to win. So just keep that in mind, that Tornadus is going to be more consistent than Thundurus. Landorus is going to be the unique one, where like Landorus is good whether you are doing the regular form, the Therian form, or the Incarnate form. So it has Sand Force, but what you really want to look for is Sheer Force. So Sheer Force Life Orb is always really good. You access moves like Sludge Bomb. And now you get the, so what's the storm move? Sandsteer Storm, which is an 80% spread, which is an 80% accurate spread move, which has a 20% chance to burn. Now with Sheer Force, you're not going to get that burn chance, but it's still a very powerful ground move, where before you had to go with Earth Power, which is consistent, but this is a spread type move, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, so it is a spread type move. It's a little powerful, a little less accurate than Earth Power, but like to get a spread move with the Sheer Force Life Orb boost is pretty good. I also always liked Psychic on my Sheer Force Landoruses, but what you're going to see more in VGC here is the Intimidate. So you can still run the Sandseer, but you kind of want to take advantage of Landorus's physical attack over its special attack. So you're probably still going to see Earthquake more. There's always Earthquake, Rock Slide. Because there is no max Airstream, you won't see Fly as much. Like Fly was really standard on most Landorus sets, but you'll probably only see the Earthquake, Rock Slide here. And you can always do bulky with U-Turn and Assault Vest. And you can go Terror Blast for the last one. You want a Terror type that probably resist ice, because Landorus is 4 times weak to ice. And so that is going to be a big issue for Landorus, but Landorus now having the ability to Terrasilize is going to be really good here. So I could see Assault Vest Landorus like really kicking it up. And then the U-Turn is really good for like just pivoting and rotating, because that's really what you want to do with Landorus, is that you want it in a rotation system where it is dealing damage or switching out to keep those Intimidates fresh. The next ones I want to bring up is the Hisuian forms. So you got Ursaluna. I don't know if you can see it back there, but right now my switch up is hatching Teddy Ursa eggs to try to get a shiny 0 speed. So you got Ursaluna. Ursaluna is going to be the big scary one with Guts Flame Orb. That is going to be the set that you see 99% of the time. Where you run Facade. Facade is going to be Stab, so you don't get that on a lot of mons, especially in Scarlet and Violet. So to get the Guts Facade is really good, and to have this mon in Trick Room, where it can go down as low as 49 speed, it's still going to be it's still not going to be faster than like Torkoal or something. But what's really good is that once you get burned, you don't have to worry about Spore from Amoonguss. You get access to Headlong Rush. I would see more of Earthquake. And then you could always run Protect. I will note that like I think it would be good to go for either a Dark type or a fighting type move. Like Drain Punch could be really good here. Getting that recovery while dealing a huge amount of damage would be really good. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was more of a niche pick to have Drain Punch. And so next up you have Hisuian Lilligant, which is going to be a little faster than regular Lilligant, but it's going to be a little bit more aggressive. So honestly, I don't see Victory Dance being ran too much. It would be really good to get a +1 in attack, defense, and speed. By 1, what I do think we'll see is Sleep Powder. And this is good because we need it. We needed good grass types in this format. And so you can always terrestrialize to deal with it. I want to say, like, you're going to be 4 times a week to flying. So it could deal with a Terra Electric really well. Leaf Blade with the high crit ratio. If you know that you're always going to use it in the sun, you can go Solar Blade instead. And then Axe Kick. Axe Kick has a 30% chance of confusion, but if it misses, you are going to lose 50% of your health. So it's basically like a even better high jump kick. And what I think you would do is, if you're not Focus Sash, you should be Wide Lens. Because what Wide Lens will do is to make sure those Axe Kicks are 99% accurate, and that the Sleep Powder is 82% accurate. So I think you could really benefit from that. With the Chlorophyll boost, you easily outspeed anything with boost that has booster energy like Bundle or Fluttermane. And so you could tweak it so you outspeed them no matter what. Or you could run it next to a Murkrow or Tornadus, because you get Tailwind and Sunny Day. So turn 1, set up the Tailwind to match their Tailwind, or you set up the Sun to match their Tailwind with Lilligant, and then the next turn you could always Tailwind again to make sure that you are the fastest thing on the field. That could actually be really good, in all honesty. The next one after Lilligant would be Sneasler. I do think you would go in Burden over Poison Touch, because I do think you have enough moves to deal with whatever you want to do. You could have White Herb to deal with any Intimidates that are coming in. So that way you could have Dire Claw and a fighting type move. Whether you could get a free close combat with White Herb if you don't get Intimidated. Does it get knockoff? It gets Grass Knot. It also has access to Fake Out, which I think is really good. Dire Claw is really good here because there is a 50% chance to sleep, poison, or cause paralysis on the target. So basically this turns into a effect spore that does damage, which I think is really good, because you have a move here that could do really good damage into Fluttermane, and then you have really good damage here that goes into the Rune Pokemon. So between these two, you can do a lot of damage. So like some of the big threats in the metagame, and get access to Fake Out. So the White Herb could be really good here for Intimidate. Does it get U-Turn? It does get U-Turn, so you could also run this like very bulky. It does have a really low defense, so that's something you have to watch out for. You would just have to see how much it takes from, like a Sacred Sword or a Icicle Crash from Chien-Pao. Yeah, but I think Sneasler is going to be really solid here, because it covers a lot of things. Like, it's going to be frail, but it's going to hit hard. So you just have to play it right. Next up is Basculegion. I do think with their speed tiers, they're not going to be the best. You could maybe like 0 speed them and run them in Trick Room. But even then, I don't think it's worth it. They do get access to Swift Swim, so that is one thing that's beneficial, is that like you could run it next to a Pelipper and set up Tailwind. But this is like with... You can do Aqua Jet for the priority if the Swift Swim isn't enough. There's also no Shadow Sneak. there's last respects. So this is more of an endgame mon and not like a lead mon. With the last respects, you could do without it. You do also have Wave Crash for a very powerful move. It is going to be a good mon, but it's going to have to be positioned and played well. But I don't think it's going to be as impactful. Especially with like sucker punches going on that are going to be faster than it. From Chen Pao and King Gambit of the likes. Well, maybe not King Gambit, but Chen Pao definitely. Arcanine here. Arcanine Hisuian form is a little stronger than Arcanine. The stats are a little better distributed in the sense of attack and HP, but what that comes with is a 4 times weakness to water instead of just a regular like 2 times weakness. So I do think in a metagame where Palafin has been popping off, not as so much anymore, but you could just Terrasilize, but you still have to play it well. It does still get access to Intimidate, and it also has Rockhead. I think you would still want to run the Intimidate. It does have its use cases. We'll have to see if it's better than regular Arcanine. Which one's faster? Regular Arcanine's faster, so I think with the 5 HP and the 5 speed, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know. You would have to Terrasilize it. Any match that there is a good water type like a Azumarill or Palafin or even a Basculegion. So I don't know. I do think we'll just see regular Arcanine get used just as much as Hisuian one. If we see Hisuian Arcanine pop off at all. Zoroark. So with Zoroark, you can play it really well with the illusion. And it's kind of good because when you bring a Zoroark to a battle, people either A, forget that you have a Zoroark and that a Pokemon could be a Zoroark and you can catch them off guard, or B, they overpredict that every Pokemon is a Zoroark. So, but here I think it could be really good for just dealing with Mouse Ape, because it does get Brick Break. It does get like a fighting type move to deal with the Mouse Hold, and being Ghost and Normal type, it is immune to Ghost type moves because it's normal, and it's immune to fighting type moves, which are the only moves that Annihilate carries. So it can just straight up wall Annihilate. Its best move is Bitter Malice, so you would still have to deal with Annihilate easily and quickly, because if you hit it with a Bitter Malice, it is going to proc Defiant. You can go Psychic Protect, or you could drop the Foul Play and like tweak in a Nasty Plot there. But at that point, you don't have a really good move to hit the Ruin Pokemon like Chen Pao, because Psychic is your only thing. So it depends on how you want to play it. I do think Nasty Plot would be really good to have on this mon, because it's got a really high special attack, but someone will figure out the best moveset for it. But I do think Bitter Malice, Nasty Plot, and maybe Psychic. I don't know, maybe you lose Protect and you just run off of the illusion cheese as long as you can. And the last one you definitely have to talk about is Goodra. Goodra being Steel Dragon, that means it takes Fairy Neutral, which is going to be really good, and its special defense is stupid. So you can invest a lot into HP. You don't have to invest as much into the special defense. So yeah, just starting off with 150 base is really good. Let's compare Goodra and Goodra. So Hisuian Goodra is a little slower, but it really benefits with better defenses. So just overall defensively, this is a really good mon. Not to mention it gets access to Body Press, so you could do something like Iron Defense. No, not Iron Defense. What is its defense move? Acid Armor. You can do Acid Armor, Body Press for a lot of moves. Terra Water is going to be really good because then the only way that you hit it super effective is with electric types because of Sap Sipper. And its attack and special attack is really like in between like 100 and 110. So you can go any way with this mon. You can make it mixed if you really want to. So yeah, you can do acid armor, body press. You can do bolt beam with Goodra. Goodra's going to be really good, especially if you pair it next to one of the rune Pokemon like Wo-Chen or Ting Lu. It's going to be really bulky. Put some good Intimidate mons around it, and then probably run it in Trick Room. I don't know. It could be fine without the Trick Room. But that's really all the Hisuian mons I wanted to talk about. I lied. I'm not done talking about regional forms and evolutions. Cleavor. Cleavor is high attack. It's going to be stupid good. I saw Marco's Moxie Boost talking about a metronome set with something like agility. Sharpness. Sharpness is going to be really good for this mon. All slicing moves have their power multiplied. So you just get like a speed boost. Use the metronome and what was it? Fairy Cutter? Yeah. And you start racking up like really good damage. And if you don't want something like that, you could always go like X Scissor, and then it gets Stone Axe, which sets Stealth Rocks. So now we have more Pokemon that can set Stealth Rocks onto the field. The same with Hisuian Samurott. I don't think the Hisuian mons are that notable right now, especially compared to what else is coming in. But you could run this like Assault Vest. And does it get priority? Does it get Bullet Punch? No Bullet Punch. Maybe Quick Attack. U-Turn. U-Turn, Stone Axe, X Scissor, Quick Attack, and Assault Vest. And just start like knocking the crap out of things. Other forms that aren't Hisuian forms. You got Alolan Persian and Berserker. Steely Spirits is really good if you have a good Steel type Pokemon to go with it, which will boost allied Steel type moves. So that could be a really good thing. And also both these mons get access to Fake Out. So we have a little more Fake Out coming around in the format. Persian has Fur Coat, which doubles the defenses, which it needs because it has a pretty mid base HP, but you could always invest into the HP and then worry about Fur Coat with the Pokemon's defense being doubled. It has things like Snarl. It also now gets access to Chilling Water, and then you can also like run something like Parting Shot. So there's a lot of utility with Alolan Persian, and I do think that the people who find the way to use it best do really well with it. Berserker, it does also get access to Chilling Water. It doesn't get Snarl, but it gets Chilling Water, it gets Iron Head. Any pivot moves. U-Turn. How about Howl? No. But yeah, I think Persian is more notable than Berserker, but we do have more Fake Out coming into the format, so that is something that you want to factor in, especially with other mons coming in. Next up is Enamorus. Now, there are two different forms, just like with any of the Therian, the Cloud. They're not the Weather Trio. They're not a trio anymore. I do think Enamorus Therian is going to get more use than Incarnate, because with the Incarnate, you just kind of would rather run Fluttermane, right? I do think we are going to see the Therian a little more because of Overcoat once making it immune to Sandstorm damage and powder-based moves, so it doesn't have to deal with redirect our Spore or anything like that. So that's its only ability, but I think that ability is really good, so you could always run it. The thing that people are talking about right now is how to legitimately get a 0 IV1, because that's going to be hard. So that's going to be the big challenge is for people who get their Pokemon legitimately getting a 0 IV1. But I mean, in all reality, you can get a 1 or 2. And I want to say like anything below 10 is manageable. So you could make it work. It's just not going to be as optimal as a 0. And so I really don't know the item that you would run, but it's a good special attacker and Trick Room, which I mean, I feel like most of the Trick Room mons other than Torkoal, and I mean, Torkoal is no. But I feel like the fairy typing is really good here. And its fairy move, the Spring Tide Storm, is basically like has a chance to be an Intimidate, which I feel like is really good. Earth Power. And then you can go like Terra Ground to deal with Torkoal, for example. But maybe Mystical Fire. So I feel like it could be really good. In Trick Room, it's just the needs of getting one legitimately. All right, so now let's talk about some overall mons that are coming back that I feel like are going to be good, but they're not going to be as good as previous formats. Zapdos. Zapdos is going to be solid. Zapdos has always had solid bulk, solid defensive typing, but it's not going to benefit as much from Dynamax. You can always run it in the rain with Thunderbolt and Hurricane. That's how it usually goes. I like running Heat Wave on it as well, so if they want to switch around the weather, you can fish for burns and all that good stuff. But it also gets access now to Tailwind. So Tailwind could be a really good support move from a bulkier mon, and you can always go like Detect or Roost. In Sword and Shield, it usually ran a Life Orb. I feel like here a Healing Berry will help it out a little bit more. But Zapdos is going to be solid. Like Zapdos is going to find a comfortable spot in the metagame and do well. But having these moves, and you also get access to Roost and Eerie Impulse, so you could make sure that it deals with Flutter Mane through Eerie Impulse. But I can see Tailwind being a bigger thing here, because we've even seen Dragonite in some cases run Tailwind, even though it's a slower mon, and depends more on the priority. With Zapdos here, I feel like a mon this bulky being able to get Tailwind up could be really good for it. Alolan Muck. Gluttony is here, but Recycle is no more. So the Gluttony and Recycle rotation isn't going to be good. Isn't going to be usable anymore, but it gets Poison Jab. Poison Jab and Knockoff is going to be solid moves. You can also boost up with not Curse. What was that move? There's Acid Armor. I feel like there was a better one. I thought it had another boosting move, but it lost Curse. You could do Drain Punch. You could do some kind of status move. Run Taunt as well. It also gets access to the weathers like Sunny Day and Rain Dance and stuff. So you could use it as a slower like weather setter, which could be good for pivot, like Pokemon pivoting in to change the weather. But I would just say like Drain Punch for recovery and then Protect. You might want to squeeze in like a Screech or Acid Armor in there instead, but it's all dependent on how you're running it. But it has okay speed, but it's definitely going to be one of those mons like moving a little slower. Next up, we got Rillaboom. Rillaboom was probably the most nerfed Pokemon, going from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet, because before you would run Assault Vest, and you get access to moves like Fake Out. You had Grassy Glide. You would do a U-turn, and then for your last move, it would be between Wood Hammer for extra damage, High Horsepower for the dealing with the fire types, or Knockoff. Knockoff is still there, but you don't get Grassy Glide, so this isn't too bad. If you want speed control, you can go Drum Beating, but I think majority of the time you're gonna go Wood Hammer. I think what a lot of people forget is that Rillaboom gets access to Drain Punch, but I do think Knockoff is better because you don't see a lot of Knockoff anymore, in all honesty. And having that Knockoff that could hit a non-Terra Fluttermane really hard, I feel like is really good here. I do think it's still going to be a really good Assault Vest Mon, and pivoting out with that Landorus like it did with Incineroar could be really good here. So Rillaboom, not as good as it used to be, but it is still like a force to be reckoned with. And when you're going up against the Indeedee Armor Rogue, you can go 0 speed minus nature, and it actually speed ties, I believe. Yeah, it's speed ties. So you could take control of the terrain with a 50-50 and get rid of the psychic terrain, which makes Indeedee a little less powerful when it comes as a defender and Trick Room, and would allow you to use priority moves. That being said, since it is a speed tie, it is a gamble there, but you can always pivot Rillaboom in and still do really well with it. You do have access to a Alolan Raichu, but once again, its ability Surge Surfer only works with electric terrain, and we have a lack of terrain setters. We do have Rillaboom is back. We do have Arboliva before that, but like the psychic terrain, if you want an automatic setter, like you really just have Indeedee female. And so with the electric terrain, the only mon that gets like priority electric terrain is Pincurchin with electric surge. So it's not really that good of a combination. Does it still get Sucker Punch? It still gets Sucker Punch, so that's not too bad. But I just feel like to run a Pincurchin just to enable the Alolan Raichu, I don't feel like it's worth it. There's a lot of dark types coming around with the Rune Pokemon, so like Raichu isn't going to be as good. We got Cresselia and Heatran. Cresselia and Heatran have always been solid. They're always going to find a good place in the meta, especially together. They do really well together. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. You got the Levitate with the Trick Room. And a lot of people go Ice Beam, Calm Mind. Recover has been nerfed. Or how does it recover? Did it just lose Recover outright? What was it? Its recovery move. But now it gets Lunar Blessings. So even if it's not recovering for itself, what Lunar Blessings does is heal 1/4 of the max HP, and it also cures status. So I guess the one good thing is that you won't see Lunar Blessing next to Ursaluna because you want to keep Ursaluna burned. But you would still have the Flame Orb. That could still work, actually. As long as you keep the Flame Orb attached to Ursaluna, you'll be good there. And Levitate, you could click Earthquake however many times you want. We did see a stat decrease on Cresselia with its defense and special defense, but it's still a super bulky Pokemon overall, and Lunar Blessings. It's going to be really good. Heatran, really good flash fire. The only thing you want to do is avoid ground type moves, which is really hard, but you could always do a Terra Flying, so you don't have to deal with it anymore, or you can Terrasilize to resist the ground type moves with a grass typing, and that also will help you against Palafin. So there's always like you always do like Choice Scarf Eruption, Heat Wave, or you could put it next to a Chi-Yu and do like some Lava Plume stuff, some Choice Scarf Lava Plume, which could be really good, but these two are always going to find somewhere to be in the meta. We got to talk about the big guns. We got to talk about the big guns here. This video is all over the place. I apologize. You got the Urshifus. Why is only Rapid Strike showing up? Oh, it's just a regular Urshifu. Yeah, you got the Urshifus coming up. Urshifu is going to be really good. The 4 times weak to Fairy and the 2 times weak to Fairy, not the best, but you do have Terraslization. Unseen Fist means that you cannot protect against these Mons. Now that Dynamax is over, there's no way of protecting against these Mons other than redirection. But you have Surging Strikes. You have Aqua Jet. Most of them run close combat. And then you could go Assault Vest and U-turn, or you can just go Detect. With the Dark type Urshifu, Wicked Blow, Sucker Punch. Now the thing about Sucker Punch is, like, they have to be attacking for it to actually land. And then once again, you can go Assault Vest with U-turn, or just have to Detect. A use case that I would honestly bring up, if you go, especially on Rapid Strike Urshifu, you can go Terra Steel and run Iron Head. It's just as strong as Terra Blast, and you have a chance to flinch. And that would really hinder the matchup against... That would really benefit it in the matchup against Fluttermane. So I do think a Terra type of Steel would actually be pretty good. I don't know... You'd probably have to, like, if you wanted to run this set, you probably would want to run Assault Vest, because you still either want the U-turn for pivot or close combat for big damage against Dark type Pokemon. But other than that, yeah. And Regieleki. Regieleki, aka the fastest thing in the metagame. Now, granted, if you run Timid, max speed, there is still a chance you still can get outsped by a Booster Energy Fluttermane or a Booster Energy bundle. And it has no defenses, so you could always run a Focus Sash for that. But what I actually think might be good against bundles is Covert Cloak. So you can go Covert Cloak to avoid Fake Out and all this and that, and just run Electro Whibs. So either way you get the Electro Whibs off. That, or in all honesty, you can run it next to a bundle and do like an Icy Wind Electro Web combination there. Terra Ice, Terra Blast to deal with Thunderous. But I don't know. It would all depend on what Terra typing like Thunderous wants to be, or Landorus wants to be. And then we have the Horsies. The Horsies are going to be really good because they're fast. Are, in Glacier's case, good in Trick Room. And I do have a 0 speed one. So it's still going to be slower. It's still going to be... So Glastrier at 0 speed minus speed nature, it's still not as slow as Torkoal, so that's something that you have to deal with, but you also now have Terrestrialization. So you can Terrestrialize to deal with the types that deal with ice typing. It did lose high horsepower, which is a really good move to help deal with Torkoal, but it still has like the Icicle Crash. You got Close Combat if you really wanted to. And Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam might be good for dealing with Fluttermanes. It's pretty decent here. And then you get Protect. You want to, like, a lot of people did Life Orb or White Herb to deal with Intimidate rotation. So you just kind of like bulk it out. And you run something like this. I don't know if... I don't know. You would sacrifice the Protect, but you could also, you know, go Brave and run Assault Vest instead to get a little bit more. You do want some in the physical defense, but, you know, it's still going to be a scary Trick Room mom to deal with. Trick Room got big benefits with this format change, but with Spectrier, not as fast as Fluttermane, our bundle, and Chen Pao, for example. I think Spectrier is going to be worse in this format. You can still run it in Tailwind, so you get access to Shadow Ball. Also has Foul Play if you want to deal with physical attackers. I honestly always liked Snarl on my Spectrier. And then you could also do Draining Kiss like Terra Fairy. And that really sticks it to the Chen Pao to have that Draining Kiss. And it's a recovery move. And the thing about these mons, and if they get a knockout, they get an attack boost in their respected stat. So these mons are still going to be really good. They're still going to be really hard to deal against. I would have to say Terra Ground might be the best one for Glastrier. But that's all. I definitely rambled around. So editing this is going to be fun to make it understandable. But if you have any mons that I forgot, any mons that are any points that I missed, bring them up in the comments. But that's Regulation D. And this is what we're going to see at Worlds. I don't know how long it's going to be around for. It says September 30th. They haven't done any formats that were just the same as previous formats like they did in Sword and Shield. So I think the next time we see a format change, it will be with the DLC, but we'll have to wait and find out. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if there's anything I missed. I hope you enjoyed it. If you made it this far in the video, I want to say thanks for watching. And that's going to be all. Until next time, I'm Zach, and we'll see everyone later.